The Reckoning of Willow Creek. Under the scorching midday sun, 5 motorcycles roared into Willow Creek, a quiet suburban neighborhood where manicured lawns and white picket fences hid secrets darker than anyone could imagine. Linda Harper, the HOA president, stood 100 yards away, her icy smile betraying the satisfaction of a plan unfolding perfectly. She thought she could break us with fear, targeting my son, Danny, an 18-year-old with a mild intellectual disability, as her hired thugs stormed our front yard. But she didn't know the history behind our name, changed years ago to escape a legacy forged in law and blood. Linda Harper had just declared war on the wrong family. It was August 15, 2024, at 12:47 p.m., when the bikers dismounted with military precision, their boots hitting the asphalt in unison. Danny was arranging his beloved blue tow trucks on the grass, humming softly, oblivious to the danger. I, James Carter, once Jimmy Moretti, grandson of a community protector, watched from my lakeside home office as the largest biker, a hulking man with tattooed arms, approached my son with a chilling grin. "Hey, kid, want to check out our bikes?" he said, his voice dripping with false kindness I'd heard too many times in my days as a state investigator. Before I could reach the front door, the biker grabbed Danny's arm, pulling him toward a Harley. "I want my daddy." Danny's cry shattered the afternoon as his favorite tow truck fell to the dirt. The other bikers formed a circle, shielding their leader as he forced Danny onto the bike. Neighbors peeked from behind curtains. Mrs. Thompson, watering her roses, fumbled for her phone. A delivery driver named Sam froze, live streaming on his phone, but too scared to act. In 30 seconds, my son was gone, the roar of engines fading as Linda Harper stood clipboard in hand, feigning concern while checking her gold watch. My wife, Susan, burst through the door in her nurse's scrubs, her face pale as she saw the empty yard. "They took our baby," she sobbed. But I wasn't calling 911, not yet. Instead, I dialed a number I hadn't touched in 15 years, Uncle Ray, emergency only. My neighbors thought I was in shock, but I was remembering lessons from my father about protecting family when pushed too far. Linda had mistaken our quiet life for weakness, unaware that the Carter name hid the Moretti legacy, a family that once made entire neighborhoods safe when the system failed. 3 hours later, a gravelly voice called, demanding $15,000, 10 times our HOA dues, for Danny's return. Brother Protection LLC handles community issues, the voice sneered, confident they held all the cards. I recorded every word, hearing Danny's faint voice in the background, calling for his mom. The echo suggested a warehouse, likely in the old industrial district. Susan looked at me, her ER instincts kicking in. "Carter isn't your real name, is it? Normal families don't call Uncle Ray before the police." I confessed the truth I'd buried for 20 years. My name was Moretti. My grandfather, Don Moretti, cleaned up the west side when the city couldn't. Susan's eyes widened. Even she'd heard whispers of the Moretti family, protectors who ensured kids walked to school safely and elders weren't preyed upon. My law enforcement background wasn't just a job. It was a legacy of understanding power and evidence. Uncle Ray arrived in a black Cadillac, his silver hair and commanding presence silencing the room. With him came 3 men, Tom Bradley, a retired detective, Mark Evans, a former Marine, and Richard Parker, an ex-FBI agent specializing in kidnappings. They turned our living room into a command center, setting up laptops and surveillance gear. Linda had underestimated us, thinking the Carters were isolated. She didn't know our basement held secrets of a life she couldn't imagine. By evening, we had a plan. Mrs. Thompson's iPhone footage showed Linda signaling the bikers, timestamped at 12:47 p.m. Sam's livestream captured their cruel laughter, mentioning the HOA lady. An AirTag in Danny's tow truck, placed there for his wandering episodes, tracked him to Industrial Road, Building 17. A biker's Instagram livestream, posted by someone called Blade, revealed the warehouse interior and Danny in a corner, singing about tow trucks. Linda's emails to her brother, sent the night before, outlined her plan to make an example of us. Financial records showed $47,000 funneled to dummy corporations for harassment campaigns against 12 families. The next evening, August 16, 2024, Linda called an emergency HOA meeting, expecting to spin Danny's kidnapping into a case for stricter rules. The community center was packed, 51 of 52 homeowners, local reporters, and news cameras. Linda began. Certain families attract criminal attention, implying we were to blame. I stood, my grandfather's ring heavy on my finger. Let's show what really happened, I said, as Tom activated our projector. The room gasped as Mrs. Thompson's video played, showing Linda's calculated signals. Sam's audio revealed the biker's connection to the HOA lady. Linda's email to her brother, timestamped August 14th at 11:23 p.m., detailed her plan to target us. Financial records exposed 3 years of embezzlement, funding harassment against families with disabled kids, elderly residents, and single parents. When Linda's own voice played, admitting she saw Danny as a burden, the crowd erupted. She screamed, "Property values suffer when normal families see," but stopped short of a slur, her composure shattered. As Linda unraveled, my phone buzzed, package secured. Coming home, Mark's team had rescued Danny during the meeting, exploiting the bikers' reduced numbers. The room cheered as I announced Danny's safety. A unanimous vote, except for Linda, suspended her from the HOA, and police escorted her out in handcuffs. "I'm James Moretti," I declared, "and my family has protected communities for 3 generations." The next morning, August 17th, the HOA board met with FBI agent Emily Johnson. Linda's laptop revealed a network, the Community Standards Alliance, targeting vulnerable families across 12 states. She was charged with kidnapping, RICO violations, and civil rights abuses, facing 15 years without parole and $250,000 in fines, plus $127,000 in restitution for victims. The Brother Protection LLC was dismantled, with 37 arrests nationwide. Willow Creek transformed. New bylaws mandated transparency and community input. Property values rose 12%, proving inclusion strengthened our neighborhood. Danny, with therapy from Dr. Ellen Brooks, returned to his tow trucks, now joined by other kids in a yard free of fear. Our evidence collection methods, dubbed the Moretti method, became a model for law schools and police academies. The Moretti Family Community Fund, raising $85,000, supported families fighting HOA corruption. At the first Community Protection Day, August 2025, Danny spoke to 300 people. "Bad people thought I was weak, but my daddy showed me being different makes you special." His words, simple yet profound, silenced the crowd. Awards honored Mrs. Thompson, Sam, and our team. Workshops taught evidence collection and community organizing, inspiring 47 states to adopt our methods. Linda's house was sold to a family with a disabled grandfather, a poetic end to her reign. As I watched Danny lead a tow truck parade, I realized true security comes from embracing differences, not fearing them. Justice isn't just punishment, it's ensuring no family faces terror alone. What do you think about the role of violence and injustice in our communities? Should families like mine take matters into their own hands when the system fails? Or is there another way? Share your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your stance and what you'd do in our shoes.